The Tennessee Titans are going to be a lot better than what they're expected to be. I've seen a bunch of rec predictions that have the Titans winning 6, 7, 8 games at the most. I have them going 9-8. 9-8 could be good enough to get the Titans the last seed in the NFL playoffs in the AFC. Last year, they had a really good defense, but unfortunately, Mayo Man and Mason Rudolph didn't really give their defense a lot of breaks due to how bad they were at quarterback. With the Titans now having Cam Ward at quarterback now, who should be just as good as what Jaden Daniels was during his rookie season, that defense is going to look much better than how they looked on the stat sheet last year. With the personnel that Cam Ward has around him on offense, he should be able to put up similar numbers to what Jaden Daniels was able to put up with the Commanders, if not better, because the Titans are a better situation than what Jaden Daniels walked into last year. Although you don't have a coach that's as proven as Dan Quinn, who has been to the Super Bowl before, you do have a good offensive line led by one of the best offensive line coaches in the league. You got a great group of wide receivers. Calvin Ridley is a dog. If we are talking about the top 5 most talented receivers in the game, I'm talking about most talented. I'm not talking about stats. I'm not talking about production. I'm just talking about in terms of the 5 most talented receivers in the game in terms of skill set. Calvin Ridley is in that discussion. Calvin Ridley is an all-pro caliber receiver, but he's been held back due to the Titans having bad quarterback play last year. Hell, up to this point in Calvin Ridley's career, he's 30 years old. He hasn't played with a good quarterback since Matt Ryan, who was on the tail end of his career. Matt Ryan was out of his prime. Cam Ward is already in his prime. Cam Ward, to me, is already a top 10 quarterback in the game. And now with him throwing to Calvin Ridley, he's going to become a household name again. A lot of you all forgot just how good Calvin Ridley is. A league Ironmaner, a.k.a. the Travis Hunter Destroyer, should have a really good rookie season. You also have Xavier Restrepo, Cam Ward's tag team partner from the U, who is Miami's all-time leading receiver. He comes to Tennessee following Cam Ward. You know Cam Ward is going to make sure that he eats. The Titans have a good amount of depth in the receiver room. They got a really good tight end in Okonkwo. They got a solid running back in Tony Pollard. Tajay Spears got injured. But the personnel around Cam Ward is good enough for him to put up some really good numbers for him to be a rookie. I don't care about the amount of tough defenses that the Titans have to face. Oh, they faced the Denver Broncos in week 1. So what? And Cam Ward ain't scared of the Broncos defense. Cam Ward is an alpha. Cam Ward is one of those dudes that if you put an obstacle in his face, not only is he going to jump over it, he's going to absolutely kick it down brick by brick until there no longer is any of it left. As a Miami Hurricane fan, Cam Ward gave me my best years ever as Miami fan. For the first time in my 14 years being a fan of the Canes, I actually had hope and optimism that Miami could win the ACC, that Miami could compete for a national championship because of Cam Ward. Cam Ward is the definition of a franchise-changing quarterback. And in a division that is really weak right now, outside the Texans, the Titans don't have too much comp. The Jaguars, they more than likely are going to be a 7-8 win team. They'll be a competitive 7-8 win team, but I don't think they're as good talent-wise as what the Titans are. And I would take Cam Ward over Trevor Lawrence. The Colts suck. The Houston Texans, okay, they're the team to beat, but they have similar questions offensively to what the Titans have. On the offensive line, you have less questions than what the Texans have if you're the Titans. But when it comes to receiver, though, the Houston Texans they don't really know who's going to be that number 2 behind Nico Collins. The Texans' offensive line also is a huge mystery. I mean, if that offensive line is as bad as what it was last year, then the Titans could win this division easily, regardless of how good C.J. Stroud is. Okay, C.J. Stroud's a top 10 quarterback. So is Cam Ward. So if the Texans' offensive line isn't improved, which I doubt it will be, Texans fans would disagree with me on this, but I mean, you haven't really drafted well on the offensive line. You're bringing in a bunch of free agents. You're having them compete and slug it out for the starting spots, but I don't think that offensive line is going to be as good as Tennessee's this year. You got one of the best offensive line coaches in the game. You have a really good defense. Now, the Texans have a big edge over the Titans defense, but the Titans defense is still good enough to win the weak AFC South. So I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw the Tennessee Titans make it to the playoffs. Every year, there's a team that we all expect to suck water through our garden holes, and they end up shocking us all. Last year, we had 3 of them. The Broncos, the Chargers, and the Commanders. All 3 of those teams made it to the playoffs. The Titans could be that sole team that takes the NFL by storm because of how good Cam Ward is.